Chapter 7, Structural Organization in Animals. In the preceding chapters, you came across a large variety of organisms, both unicellular and multicellular, of the animal kingdom. In unicellular organisms, all functions like digestion, respiration, and reproduction are performed by a single cell. In the complex body of multicellular animals, the same basic functions are carried out by the different groups of cells in well-organized manner. The body of simple organism like Hydra is made up of different types of cells, and the number of cells in each type can be in thousands. The human body is composed of billions of cells to perform various functions. How do these cells in a body work together? As you have already learned in your earlier classes, in multicellular animals, a group of similar cells along with the intercellular substances perform a specific function. Such an organization is called tissue. You may be surprised to know that the all complex animals consist of only four basic types of tissues. These tissues are organized in a specific proportion and pattern to form an organ like stomach, lung, heart, and kidney. When two or more organs perform a common function by their physical and or chemical interaction, they together form an organ system, example digestive system, respiratory system, etc. Cells, tissues, organs and organ system split up the work in a way that exhibits the division of labor and contribute to the survival of the body as a whole. 7.1 Organ and organ system. The basic tissues, as you have learned in earlier classes, organize to form organs which in turn associate to form organ systems in a multicellular organisms. Such an organization is essential for more efficient and better coordinated activities of millions of cells constituting an organisms. Each organ in our body is made up of one or more types of tissues. For example, our heart consists of all the four types of tissues, that is epithelial, connective, muscular and neural. We also notice after some careful study that the complexity in organ and organ system displays the certain discernible trend. This discernible trend is called the evolutionary trend. You will study detail in the class 12th. In this chapter, you are being introduced to the morphology and anatomy of frog. Morphology refers to the study of a form or externally visible features. In the case of plants and microbes, the term morphology precisely means the only this. In a case of animals, this refers to the external appearance of the organs or parts of a body. The word anatomy conveniently is used for a study of morphology of internal organs in animals. You will learn the morphology and anatomy of frog representing vertebrates. 7.2 Frogs. Frogs can live on both on land and in a fresh waters along to class amphibia of phylum Chordata. The most common species of frog found in India is Rana tigrina. They do not have constant body temperature, that is, their body temperature varies with the temperature of the environment. Such animals are called cold-blooded or poikilotherms. You might have also noticed changes in the color of frogs while they are in grasses and on a dry land. They have the ability to change the color to hide them from their enemies, means camouflage. This protective coloration is called mimicry. You may also know that the frogs are not seen during the peak summer and winter. During this period, they take the shelter in a deep burrows to protect them from the extreme heat and cold. This is known as summer sleep, means estivation, and winter sleep, means hibernation, respectively. 7.2.1 Morphology. Have you ever touched the skin of frog? The skin is smooth and slippery due to presence of mucus. The skin is always maintained in a moist condition. The color of a dorsal side of a body is generally olive green with the dark irregular spots. On the ventral side, the skin is uniformly pale yellow. The frog never drinks water but absorbs it through the skin. Body of a frog is divisible into head and trunk. Figure 7.1. A neck and a tail are absent. Above the mouth, a pair of nostrils is present. Eyes are bulged and covered by nictitating membrane that protects them in the water. On the either side of the eyes, the membranous tympanum, means ear, receives the sound signals. The forelimbs and hind limbs help in swimming, walking, leaping and burrowing. The hind limbs end in 5 digits and they are larger and muscular than the forelimbs that end in a 4 digits. Feet have webbed digits that help in swimming. Frogs exhibit sexual dimorphism. Male frogs can be distinguished by the presence of sound producing vocal sacs and also a copulatory pad on the first digit of the forelimbs, which can absent in female frogs. 7.2.2 Anatomy. The body of cavity of frogs accommodate different organ systems such as digestive, circulatory, respiratory, nervous, excretory and reproductive systems which well developed structures and functions. Figure 7.2. The digestive system consists of a alimentary canal and digestive glands. The alimentary canal is short because of the frogs are carnivorous and hence the length of the intestine is reduced. The mouth opens into the buccal cavity that leads to the esophagus through pharynx. Esophagus is a short tube that opens into the stomach, which in turn constitute as the intestine. Rectum and finally opens outside the cloaca. Liver secretes bile that is stored in a gallbladder. Pancreas, a digestive gland, produces a pancreatic juice containing digestive enzymes. Food is captured by the bilobe tongue. Digestion of a food takes place by the action of HCl and gastric juices secreted from the walls of the stomach. Partially digested food called chyme is passed from the stomach to the first part of the small intestine, the duodenum. The duodenum receives bile from the gallbladder and pancreatic juices from the pancreas through the common bile duct. Bile emulsifies fat and pancreatic juices digest carbohydrates and proteins. Final digestion takes place in the intestine. Digested food is absorbed by the numerous finger-like folds in the inner wall of the intestine called villi and microvilli. The undigested solid waste moves into the rectum and passes out through a cloaca. Frogs respire on a land and in the water by the two different methods. In water, skin acts as an aquatic respiratory system. Cutaneous respiration. Dissolved oxygen in the water is exchanged through the skin by diffusion. On the land, the buccal cavity, skin and lungs act as a respiratory organs. The respiration by lungs is called pulmonary respiration. The lungs are a pair of elongated pink colored sac-like structures present in the upper part of the trunk region, means thorax. Air enters through the nostrils into the buccal cavity and then to the lungs. During aestivation and hibernation, gaseous exchange takes place through skin. The vascular system of the frog is well developed, closed type. Frogs have the lymphatic system also. The blood vascular system involves heart, blood vessels and blood. The lymphatic system consists of lymph channels and lymph nodes. Heart is a muscular structure situated in the upper part of the body cavity. It has three chambers, two arteria and one ventricle, and is covered by a membrane of called pericardium. A triangular structure called sinus venosus joins the right atrium. It receives blood through the major veins called vena cava. The ventricle opens into a sac-like conus artericus on the ventral side of the heart. The blood from the heart is carried to the all parts of the body by the arteries, means arterial system. The veins collect the blood from the different parts of the body to the heart and form the venous system. Special venous connection between the liver and intestine as well as in the kidney and lower parts of the body are present in frogs. The former is called the hepatic portal system and latter is called the renal portal system. The blood is composed of a plasma and cells. The blood cells are RBC, means red blood cells, or erythrocytes, WBC, white blood cells, or leukocytes and platelets. RBCs are nucleated and contain red colored pigment, namely hemoglobin. The lymph is different from the blood. It lacks few proteins and RBCs. The blood carries nutrients, gases and water to the respective sites during the circulation. The circulation of a blood is achieved by the pumping action of the muscular heart. The elimination of the nitrogenous waste is carried out by the well-developed excretory system. The excretory system consists of a pair of kidneys, ureters, cloaca and urinary bladder. The compact and dark red and bean-like structure situated a little posteriorly in the body cavity on the both sides of the vertebral column. Each kidney is composed of a several structural and functional units called uriniferous tubules or nephrons. Two ureters emerge from the kidneys in the male frogs. The ureter acts as a urogenital duct which opens into cloaca. In female, the ureters and oviduct open separately in the cloaca. The thin-walled urinary bladder is present ventral to the rectum, which also opens in the cloaca. The frog excretes urea and thus ureotelic animal. Excretory waste are carried by the blood into the kidneys where it is separated and excreted. The system of for control and coordination is highly evolved in the frog. It includes the both neural and endocrine glands. The chemical coordination of a various organs of the body is achieved by hormones which are secreted by the endocrine glands. The prominent endocrine glands found in a frog are pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, thymus, pineal body, pancreatic islets, adrenal, and gonads. The nervous system is organized into several central nervous system means brain and spinal cord, and a peripheral nervous system means cranial and spinal nerves, the autonomic nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic. There are 10 pairs of the cranial nerves arising from the brain. Brain is enclosed in a bony structure called brain box means cranium. The brain is divided into forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Forebrain includes the olfactory lobes, paired cerebral hemispheres and unpaired diencephalon. The midbrain is characterized by the pair of optic lobes. Hindbrain consists of a cerebellum and medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata passes out through the foramen magnum and continues its into spinal cord, which is enclosed in the vertebral column. Frog has different types of sense organs, namely organ of a touch, sensory papillae, taste buds, smell, nasal epithelium, vision, eyes, and hearing, tympanum with the internal ears. Out of these, eyes and internal ears are well organized structures and the rest are cellular aggregations around the nerve endings. Eyes in a frog are a pair of spherical structures situated in orbit in a skull. These are simple eyes, means possessing only one unit. External ear is absent in frogs and only tympanum can be seen externally. The ear is an organ of hearing as well as balancing, means equilibrium. Frogs have well organized male and female reproductive systems. Male reproductive organs consist of a pair of yellowish ovid testes, figure 7.3, which are found adhered to the upper part of the kidneys by a double fold of a peritoneum called mesorchium. Vasa efferentia are 10 to 12 in a number that arises from the testes. They enter the kidneys on their side and opens into Bidder's canal. Finally, it communicates with the urinogenital duct that comes out of the kidneys and opens into the cloaca. The cloaca is a small median chamber that is used to pass fecal matter, urine, and sperm to the exterior. The female reproductive organs include a pair of ovaries, figure 7.4. The ovaries are situated near kidneys and there is no functional connection with kidneys. A pair of oviduct arising from the ovaries opens into the cloaca separately. A mature female can lay 2500 to 3000 ova at a time. Fertilization is external and takes place in a water. Development involves a larval stage called tadpole. The tadpole undergoes metamorphosis to form an adult. Frogs are beneficial for mankind because they eat insects and protect the crop. Frogs maintain ecological balance because these serve as an important link of a food chain and food web in an ecosystem. In some countries, the muscular legs of a frog used as a food by man. Summary: cells, tissues, and organ systems split up the work in a way that ensures the survival of the body as a whole and exhibit a division of labor. The tissue is defined as a group of cells along with the intercellular substances performing a one or more function in the body. Epithelia are sheet-like tissues lining the body's surface and its cavities, ducts and tubes. Epithelial tissue have a one free surface facing a body fluid and outside the environment. Their cells are structurally and functionally connected at the junctions. The Indian bullfrog Rana tigrina is a is a common frog found in India. Body is covered by a skin. Mucous glands are present in the skin, which is highly vascularized and helps in a respiration in a water and on a land. Body is divisible into head and trunk. A muscular tongue is present, which is bilobed at a tip and is used for capturing the prey. The alimentary canal consists of esophagus, stomach, intestine, and rectum, which opens into the cloaca. The main digestive glands are liver and pancreas. It can respire in water through skin and through the lungs on a land. Circulatory system is closed with a single circulation. RBCs are nucleated. Nervous system is organized into a central, peripheral, and autonomic. The organs of a urinogenital system are kidneys and urogenital ducts, which opens into the cloaca. The male reproductive organ is a pair of testes. The female reproductive organ is a pair of ovaries. A female lays 2500 to 3000 ova at a time. The fertilization and development are external. The eggs hatch into tadpoles, which metamorphose into frogs. Thank you.